For decades, we've been absolutely terrified by the xenomorph, right? But what if I told you the true horror, the real horror in the alien universe isn't just about the monster? It's about this shocking and honestly super tragic relationship between creators and their creations.
Yeah, that's coming straight from one of our creators and engineer, and it perfectly sets the stage, doesn't it? This isn't some simple monster flick. It's a family drama, but like on a cosmic scale. In their minds, they gave us paradise. They gave us Eden, and we just threw it all away.
And that's the big one, isn't it? That's the question Prometheus left every single one of us hanging with. Why would these godlike beings create us just to turn around and try to wipe us out? Well, the answer? It's way more complex and frankly a lot more humbling than any of us could have guessed.
Okay, so to get to that answer, we've got to start with maybe the most iconic and mysterious substance in the whole franchise. You know what I'm talking about? The black goo. And get this, everything we thought we knew about it, yeah, we were wrong. So here's the first major mind bender. We all thought the black goo was just a weapon, a terrifying bioweapon. But that was never its main purpose. Yeah, it's incredibly dangerous, no doubt, but its primary function wasn't destruction, it was creation. It's kind of like the fire from the Prometheus myth, this divine, world-changing tool that can literally rewrite the code of life. The lore actually gives it a name, the pathogen, and apparently it comes from this creature the engineers basically worshipped, the Deacon. So you gotta think of this goo as a kind of universal stem cell, this primordial ooze that can just completely reshape the DNA of anything it comes into contact with.
And this is where things get, well, a little chilling for us. It reveals a really uncomfortable truth about why we're even here. See, we weren't made to be their children, not in any sense we'd recognize. We were made to be incubators. Humans are just a necessary step, an intermediate stage for the engineers to reproduce. They literally need us to make more of them.
So, yeah, we're just incubators for our gods. That's a lot to process. But believe it or not, the rabbit hole goes even deeper, because those powerful engineers, they're not at the top of the cosmic food chain either.
Which leads to the next big question, doesn't it? If the engineers created us, who created them? I mean, every creation story needs a creator. The engineers are clearly artificial themselves. Flesh and blood, sure, but not exactly a product of natural evolution. So who made them?
Well, let me introduce you to the ancients. Go all the way back to the first Alien movie. Remember that giant fossilized space jockey? For years, we all just assumed that was an engineer. Nope, it was one of these guys. A much older, much bigger, kind of elephant-like race. They are the real puppet masters here. They made the pathogen, they made the engineers, and all that amazing engineer tech, their ships, their suits, it's all hand-me-downs.
And that one simple fact, it changes everything. It completely reframes our place in the universe. We're not just a creation, we're the creation of a creation. We're just one link in a cosmic chain we didn't even know was there.
Okay, so this all brings us to the star of the show, right? The xenomorph itself. If the engineers are just vessels, and the pathogen is this tool for creation, where does the perfect organism fit into this whole grand cosmic plan?
Well, this is where the creature we've been terrified of for decades gets a total rewrite. The xenomorph is not just some mindless killing machine. Turns out its real purpose is way more profound and absolutely essential to this whole cosmic plan.
Okay, so think about it like this. The pathogen, this divine, life-creating stuff, is actually super fragile. The lore says it just decays in the vacuum of space. So, big problem. How do you get it from one galaxy to another? You build the perfect thermos. You build the xenomorph. It's basically an immortal biological hard drive. It doesn't just survive in space, it perfectly preserves the pathogen's genome inside it. And here's the kicker. When it reproduces, it copies the DNA of its hosts. So it's not just a monster. It's a living, breathing, terrifying library of life. Now look, I know this whole cosmic plan thing might sound like a wild fan theory, but the newest film, Alien Romulus, and more importantly, some of its deleted scenes, they provide the missing puzzle pieces that make this whole thing just click. Romulus isn't just another scary monster movie. You gotta think of it as the Rosetta Stone for the entire franchise. It's finally giving us answers to questions that fans have been arguing about for, like, 40 years. And here it is,
The smoking gun. In Romulus, they drop a bombshell. The DNA of that original xenomorph, the one from the first movie, it was a staggering 93% identical to its human host, Cain. That is concrete proof of its true job. It's not just killing, it's collecting. It's perfectly preserving the genetic blueprint of the life it takes.
And it doesn't stop there. Romulus just elegantly ties up so many loose ends. You know, all those little things fans have debated forever, like, why'd the harpoon survive the acid? Well, in a vacuum, no moisture, the acid's less corrosive. Where'd all the aliens come from? The first one built a hive, just like we saw in the deleted scenes from the original. And then there's the alien's intelligence. It tactically spares Rain, right? Because she's a potential host. But Tyler, he's armed, he's a threat, so he gets taken out immediately. This thing isn't mindless. It's strategic. It's carrying out its mission. But this deleted scene detail is the key that unlocks the entire plot of the first movie. You remember how obsessed Weyland-Yutani was with getting a specimen? Bring back life form, priority 1. It's because they had already been to LV-223 from Prometheus. They found the labs, they found the urns full of goo, but it all decayed. It was useless. They didn't just want a weapon, they needed a fresh, living sample. They needed the perfect vessel.
So you see, our entire understanding has been completely backward this whole time. We all thought the black goo was made from the xenomorph, but the shocking truth is the exact opposite. The xenomorph was made to preserve the pathogen. It was engineered for one single purpose, to be the immortal guardian of that goo, the divine legacy of the ancients.
And that just forces us to ask one last, pretty chilling question. If this creature, the thing we've always seen as the ultimate symbol of death, is actually a vessel for eternal life, a living library of stories written in DNA, what happens when someone, someday, finally learns how to read it?